Linda, Mnisi is in court and he would have followed the proceedings there. Linda, good morning to you. Bring us the salient points from what you could hear from your vantage point.
Well, you would have seen, Oli, it was a packed courtroom with many really wanting to see for themselves the very first time that Dr Nandipha Magudumana was reunited in the dock with her alleged lover, Thabo Bester. Of course, 12 people alongside her father in the dock, appearing today. But you would have heard some of the complaints that have been put to the court by the legal representatives, including that of, indignity, the kind of treatment that the accused are getting. I'm joined now by Dr Nandipha Magudumana's lawyer, Machini Motloung. Mr. Motloung, you've spoken to the court, you've submitted to the court your complaints about the manner in which your client has been treated. Most of the time she's come to court with her feet cuffed, but you're saying her hands were also cuffed when she came to court.
Imagine, even that's a treatment you give to animals. You travel about 2 hours in the back of a van you don't have a balance. She was just tossed around in in the back of a van, and that's really cuts across to her right to be treated with dignity. This is inhumane, degrading treatment that she suffered at the hands of the police. And the only reason why she's treated that way is that she is told by the police. Now we've got instructions from the powers that be. We've got instructions from above. But over and above that, they are saying you are a celebrity. We are told you are a celebrity, and that there was a lot of media uproar and public, comments on how you are treated the last time around. Therefore, we are playing to the gallery. Simply put, they are playing to the gallery at the expense of my client.
So it's really unfair. So essentially it comes from the video that emerged where she was seen carrying clothes and somewhat greeting other people that gave the impression that she was being treated with soft gloves.
Exactly. We're not second guessing it. It's what they told her when they were tried to handcuff her, and she protested because otherwise she will then be alleged to have consented to an illegality. She protested. Notwithstanding her protest, she was really treated in the manner in which I've outlined to the court, which is degrading and which is inhumane.
Beyond this point, what else can you do besides just submitting and telling the court the kind of treatment that she is subjected to?
No, definitely. We are taking it up with the highest office within the police service. We should. Otherwise, it will, continue unabated. It will recur. So for us to bring this type of conduct to a halt, we have to, raise it sharply with the National Commissioner, because we cannot have a situation where there is treatment. She's being treated, differently from a normal person would, in a position that she is currently in, just merely because, according to the police, who handcuffed her in that manner, she is a celebrity, therefore she should be treated in that manner. That is unacceptable. That is totally unbecoming conduct on the part of the police. So this is not the end of it. We'll have to take it up with the relevant authorities to ensure that we bring to a halt this type of, a barbaric treatment to a human being.
And it actually reminds me of a visit that was conducted. She did not consent to being filmed by the media when the National Commissioner of the Correctional Services Department visited the Kroonstad prison. Have you done anything about that, or have you just simply let it slide?
No, we are busy with a very important matter. We had the National Commissioner's comments that he doesn't need anyone's consent to do his job. I wish he was doing the very same routine, rounds in all other prison facilities, and going about checking all inmates. But in this instance, there was a specific target, and that target ought to have been informed that we are making a special visit. And what really icked us in this whole thing is that this was a reactionary type of routine, so-called routine visit. After a lot of public uproar as well, we are reacting to it by getting into a space of the accused and trying to show, the public that, she is not receiving treatment that they allege she is. They could have done it differently. They could have issued a statement. Now they wanted hard evidence. In the process, they are trying to humiliate Dr. Magudumanna. For what? Because she is still entitled to all the rights that are enshrined in the Constitution, including the right to dignity, which in our view is sacrosanct. So, look, we decided that let us focus all our energies and attention to the matter at hand, which we are really fiercely, putting up a fight to declare apprehension, her abduction in Tanzania to be unlawful.
And what is the latest with regards to that? You've told the court that you're still reserving your right to apply for bail. You've lost your leave to appeal application at the Bloemfontein High Court. Will you be going straight to the SCA, or will you be going to the Constitutional Court?
Look, definitely it's not the end of the road and journey for us. We are still pursuing the legal avenues at our disposal, which in this instance is petitioning the President of the Supreme Court of Appeal, and we are busy with that process. And but we are definitely forging ahead to ensure that we deal with this matter, and deal with it to the very end.
And lastly, your client seems to have had a very cordial interaction with Thabo Bester. What should the nation read into this? Perhaps there's no animosity between the two, and that they're good with each other.
I wouldn't say much about it, whether they are good with each other or not. I don't think it's neither here nor there. We have our own case to pursue. We have our own instructions in terms of what really transpired in the matter. So I'm not too sure of animosity and what that animosity should really be sending. What message would it be sending? Whether they talk or they are really not in speaking terms. I'm not too sure if really that will be material to the matter, going forward.
Do you know if there's been communication between the two?
No, I wouldn't know.
Machini Motloung from Machini Motloung Inc. They're representing Dr. Nandipha Magudumana, raising issues around how they're not happy about the manner in which she's being treated, how she was transported to court, handcuffed and placed at the back of the van. And when he was telling the court earlier, saying that you can imagine when the driver is speeding and she has no place to hold on to. It comes, of course, as he says, after public outcry around the manner in which she's being treated, some alleging that she's getting better treatment. I even asked him about that visit, that routine visit that we saw not so long ago from the National Commissioner of the Department of Correctional Services, visiting Dr. Nandipha Magudumana, who did not consent to being filmed because members of the media were invited to that particular visit. You will remember they were also invited to Thabo Bester's prison cell, where we got a sense of what it looks like and what essentially conditions he is under. So he says this is not the end of the road. They're still going to take it up with the powers that be around the treatment, because there are better ways of doing it. Oli?
All right, Linda Mnisi, thank you very much. Perhaps a big takeaway from that conversation is exactly the last point that Linda points to, that there is likely to be a petitioning of the President of the Supreme Court of Appeals. This is in relation to that matter that was pursued by Dr. Nandipha Magudumana, saying that her arrest in Tanzania was an extradition disguised as deportation. And so there you have some kind of confirmation that they are forging ahead with appealing that loss.